Welcome back, everyone. For today's healthy recipe episode, we're going to be making a classic. Perhaps you've tried it, perhaps you haven't. But if you haven't tried this before, definitely do so. They're very healthy for you, and they're great as a tasty snack. So we're going to be making some kale chips today. Let me go harvest some. Alright, so we're going to harvest some of my freshly grown organic kale here. So let's do that. So we want to grab the external leaves. You don't want to pull off the internal ones because they're going to keep growing. So keep pulling off your external leaves so the inner ones have a chance to grow. So let's keep on going on this. I'm going to pull off, like I say, about a pound or half. Depends on how many kale chips you want to make. There we go. That's good. Let's go inside and start making these. So we harvested our kale. What I want to do right now is wash these leaves off, and then we're going to start preparing our kale chips. Okay, so to prepare our chips, what we want to do is remove this middle stem right here. We're not going to be using. Just use your fingers or a knife and pull it off. Now, as you're pulling these stems off, you want to rip your kale into chip-sized pieces, just like this. Place them in this bowl for the meanwhile, and we'll do up all this kale, and then we'll move on to the next step. There we go, last one. If you wanted to, you can also save the stems and juice them later if you choose on doing so. I have enough kale, so I'm just throwing them out. I'm not really going to be using them. Okay, so now that we have our bowl ready, let's start seasoning them up and placing them in the oven. Alright, so this is a recipe that I like. You could decide to make kale chips in any way that you choose. I like to sprinkle a little bit, or drizzle a little bit of olive oil on here, and then just toss them and give a nice light coating of olive oil on all these kale leaves. Alright, that's good enough. Let me wash my hands, or you can even, if you decide on doing it, use the olive oil almost like a moisturizer. It works great on moisturizing your skin. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Alright, so I have this pizza tray right here. You can use a pizza tray like I'm using right here, or you could decide to use a oven tray of your preference. What I did was I grabbed that kale that I had in that bowl and I just spread it out. What you want to do, you want to make sure that you don't overlap the leaves, because or else the leaf that's underneath is going to not dry out properly. So if you have too much kale, spread them out in two different trays. So what I'm going to do now, lightly season all this kale with some salt. You don't want to add too much salt to kale. You can also not add salt if that's your preference, because while experimenting on making these kale chips, I discovered that if you add too much, they might absorb the salt and come out way too much salty. So just a light sprinkle here. There we go. Now I like to add a little bit of garlic powder. Just a light sprinkle of this as well. Alright, some black pepper. I like a lot of black pepper, so I'm just pouring it on here. Alright, let's place this in the oven. Okay, so from here it's pretty much straightforward. I have my oven preheated at 300. I'm going to grab this tray of kale, place it in here. We're going to let this go 15 to 20 minutes or until nice and crispy. So, let's wait for that to happen, then we'll show you the finished product. So our cooking time has elapsed, and here we go. We have our kale chips nice and crispy here. Let me try these out, actually. I love this recipe. Try it out, I tell you. And, excuse me if I'm talking with my mouth open. I mean, my mouth full, excusez-moi. But, the next time your kids ask for some chips, instead of giving them that GMO crap, make them some of these, and they're a lot healthier for them. Kale is a beautiful vegetable. Cruciferous green, a leafy green, loaded with nutrients. And, yeah. I'm going to stop this right now, finish it off here, and get on to eating those. So, join me next time for my next healthy recipe cooking series episode, and I'll see you next time.